Alright guys, welcome back. Now I'm going to teach you guys how to work with variables in Python. So what is a variable? A variable is a name that holds data. That's how I like to think of it. So up to this point, the only way that we can work with data is just by printing it. That's all we learned how to do. So this is printing a string. You can also, if you want to, I didn't show you this, but you can also print numbers. But sometimes you just want to store data so that you can work with it in multiple places, just hold it for a period of time and then change it, reassign it at some other point in time. It's a very, very essential thing in programming. So to make a variable, it's actually really easy. You simply come up with a name for the variables. So we'll say something like name. So this is the name variable, and we need to assign a value. So we'll do space equals sign space, and we want to give it a string value of my name. So we'll say Cody Simpson. So now all this piece of code here does, it creates a new variable and assigns it an initial value of the string that says Cody Simpson. That is it. And we can create other variables like age. My age is 24, so you could put 24, you could do 24.4, you could do like decimal numbers, you could do true or false. We're going to learn about those in the future. Those are called booleans, but that is how you create a variable. And then once you have a variable, you can then do whatever you want with it, right? All kinds of great things. But for now, we're going to keep it simple. All we know how to do besides creating variables now is printing. So to print a variable, all you got to do is do print, and then you can pass in the name of the variable, which happens to just be name in this case, and we can run the program and let's see what we get. Here we go. So the output of this program is 123.343 because that's what we printed initially up here. And then after that, we printed Cody Simpson because we printed our variable, which has the value of Cody Simpson in it. So that is why I said a variable is just a name that holds data. So the name is just the name of the variable, and the data is the actual data that you assign to it. So a string, a number, etc. So if you have an age, let's just say you have an age like 69, for example, and you want to print it, I just show you can print a variable by doing this. So if you run this, you get 69. You can also combine this with a string. So if you want to say something like my age is, you could do this piece of code here. That's kind of fast. Let me break it down. So all we're doing is telling the print function what we're going to print out, right? So we're passing in a string like we first learned how to do. We know it's a string just because it's in between these double quotes here. It can also be single quotes if we want to, like that. And so in the string, we just have the text that says my age is colon space. And then after that, we append our age variable, which then behind the scenes will just replace the variable with the actual value of the variable, which is 69. So when I run this, let's run it, we get my age is 69. So like I said, it replaced the actual age with the value of the variable. So whenever we call the print function, it combines all this together to produce one single output, which is my age is 69. So yeah, it's nice to combine usually strings with the variable that you're printing out, so it's just more clear what you're printing out. You can also do it like this. I think this is also a very valid way. So you could say print my name is. So you just have that by itself, and then after that, you have your printing of the variable. So you just have it on two different lines. So if you run it, we get my name is 69. So you could separate it. I kind of like this, honestly. I prefer it if I'm just trying to create a program very quickly. Just have two different print statements, and they essentially are combined together. But if you want them more cohesive and all together, then you can do the little comma trick I told you, which will add these two things together essentially. So we're going to see as we learn about Python more why variables are so useful, but for now just know that the main reason is so that we can store values in a sort of persistent way while our program is running so that we can reuse them at a later point in time. So if we just make up a program in our head, we could say that when you first start the program, it asks your age, and then once it gets your age, it stores into a variable, and then later on when it needs to use your age to determine if you're old enough to do something, it grabs it from the variable. It doesn't have to ask you again. That's just one example of why storing values would be useful. What's cool though is that we can create new variables from already existing variables. So for example, we could do new age is equal to age, our current age variable, plus 4. So we're creating a whole new variable called new age, and then using the current value of the age variable and adding 4 onto it. So 69 plus 4 is 73. So the value of this new variable here is going to be 73. So we can print it to make sure. Let's take a look. There we go, we get 73. Or if you want to, you could just take off this entirely, and then now when we create the new age variable, it's going to have the value of 69 because the current value of age is 69, so it's going to be copied into this one. There we go, we get 69. Something else that we can do is reassign variables, because once you create a variable, you set an initial value for it, but that might not always be the value that you want for the variable. Maybe it changes. So for example, let's just say I have a variable called my favorite quote, and my favorite quote is good things come to bad people. So what we'll do is just print out my favorite quote, and then we'll print out the variable, my favorite quote. A cool little thing you can do is you can either just click this to autocomplete, or as you're typing it, you can use the arrows to go up and down, and you can press tab to complete the one that's currently selected. So tab, and now it's auto-completed so you can type it faster. So let's run this, see what we get. So it says, good things come to bad people. That's my favorite quote. And then now for some reason, I don't want that to be my favorite quote anymore. I have a new favorite quote. I can reassign the variable by doing my favorite quote is equal to, and I just simply give it a new value. So I can make it I like trees. Let's just say that's my new favorite quote. I'm going to copy these print statements here. I can paste them. And so now I'll get, when I run the program, I should get my favorite quote is good things come to bad people. And then right after that, since I've reassigned the variable, I should get my favorite quote is I like trees. Let's run it and see what happens. There we go. So good things come to bad people, and then I like trees. So it's the same variable, to be clear, because it has the same exact name. We're just changing the value that the variable is storing. Now in this particular example, I've changed it from a string to another string. But if I really wanted to, this is kind of interesting with Python, you can change it to a totally different data type. We're going to learn more about data types later, but we know that there's strings, there's numbers. So I can change it from a string to a number like 1, 2, 3. So for some reason, my favorite quote is now 1, 2, 3. And there's no problem. So if I run this, my favorite quote, 1, 2, 3. This is more interesting if you're familiar with other programming languages that are not dynamically typed, because sometimes in other languages, you have to give the variable a specific data type, and it has to always be that data type. With Python, it doesn't matter. You can reassign it from one data type, like a string, to another data type, like a number. Now, there are some rules when it comes to naming variables within Python. Every variable must start with a letter, so lowercase a through z or uppercase a through z, or an underscore. Variables must contain letters, numbers like 0 through 9, or underscores after their first character, so it can't have any crazy symbols like exclamation point, the @ symbol, hashtag, etc. Variables are case sensitive, meaning that if you have a variable called my var with the V capital and then my var with the M and the V capital, these are two different variables. So let me show you what I mean. So if we have a variable called age is equal to 12, and then we have age is equal to 14. These obviously say the same thing, but these are two completely different variables because we're using different characters. So even if it's like this, these are two different variables still. So that's what it means by variables are case sensitive. The casing actually distinguishes one variable from another. So if we were to change it to this, what's happening now is we're creating a variable called age with the value of 12. And now since we're referring to the same variable as the same casing, we're reassigning that same variable to 14. They can't start with numbers because, like I said, they have to start with a letter or an underscore. And the last rule is that Python variables cannot have reserved words or keywords within them. So for example, in Python, we have certain things that are built into Python, like the word if or for that we're going to be learning about later, or print, for example. We just simply cannot have those in variables because they would conflict with the Python language. So those are the rules. Here's some examples. So if we have a variable called total score, this is perfectly valid because it starts with a letter, which is acceptable. And then a variable can contain letters, numbers, or underscores, which it does. So this is a very common variable name. And then we have underscore total, which looks weird. You're not going to see a lot of variables like this, but a variable can start with an underscore, so that's valid. And then we have player 2. Numbers are valid within variables. So you're going to see that very commonly as well. So player 2 is equal to Bob. Those are all valid variables, but then you have invalid names. So if I was to uncomment these, you're going to immediately see that it's complaining because this is just completely invalid. So we have 2 player. This is invalid because variables can have numbers within them, but it cannot start with a number. So it cannot start with numbers. It has to start with a letter or underscore. So that's invalid. This one's invalid because it does start with a letter, which is good, but it has a dash within it. Dashes are not allowed for variables, only letters, numbers, and underscores. And then this one is invalid because it has the word if, which is you would think is valid, but this is a reserved keyword within Python that we'll be learning about very soon, so you can't do that as well. The great thing though is that VS Code, the editor that we're using here, is smart enough to realize what is valid Python code, so it's able to tell you that this is completely invalid. That's why it's underlining it in red. So we can go ahead and get rid of these because these are not valid. So those are the rules for naming Python variables. You have to follow those, but there's also something called naming conventions. So naming conventions are not rules, but basically what everyone follows in the Python community to naming stuff. So for example, I told you guys that when you're naming Python files, the Python file has to end with .py for it to be a Python file. So that's the rule. But the convention is to have your Python files named all lowercase and then separated by underscores if it's multiple words. Now, when it comes to variables, it's pretty much the exact same thing. usually for the most part when you use snake case for variables. Snake case simply means that all the characters of the variable are going to be lowercase and the words are going to be separated by underscores. So exactly what we did here. So total score, everything's lowercase, and then we have an underscore because we have two different words. So that's snake case. Up here we've been doing snake case as well. So my favorite quote, that's snake case. So since it's a convention, you don't have to follow it. Your variables don't have to be snake case, but that's just what most people do. So it's a good idea to follow it yourself. Okay, so up to this point, we've learned how to create variables, reassign variables. We learned how to name variables, the naming rules, and then also the naming convention for variables, which for basic variables is just snake case. All right, there's just two more things I want to show you guys how to do. One thing is kind of interesting, which is multiple assignments. We can do this within Python. It's very cool. So let's just say that you have multiple variables like x is equal to 42, y is equal to 42, and z is equal to 42. Let's just say that for some reason you have three variables that you're all assigning at the same time to the same number, the same value. Python has a cool way of making this more concise. We can take this and do x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to 42. So now the value of 42 is going to be assigned to each of these variables all at once. In other words, we're creating three variables at once and assigning them the same initial value of 42. This is a little advanced. This is something that you're not going to be using most of the time, but it's a cool little trick that you can do within Python. Now, I want to give you guys a little challenge real quick. It's okay if you don't know how to do it. If you're new to programming, this is not something that I expect you to know how to do right away because, this is a lot to learn all at once. But I want you to try, just pause the video and give this a try. I want you to try swapping two variables. So what I mean by that is, let's say we have two variables, a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2. How can we swap these? Meaning that a has the value of b, which is 2, and then b has the value of a, which happens to be 1. Of course, you could do it really simply by just doing a is equal to 2 and b is equal to 1. But that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to figure out how to reassign a variable based on what our other variable has. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint if you want one. Remember before we learned about how to reassign variables, we learned that you can take a variable that has an initial value and reassign it to a new value. But we also learned that you can take a variable and reassign it to the value of another variable. So for example, if we had an age variable, age is equal to 12, we can do my favorite quote and reassign it to age. And now my favorite quote has the value of whatever age has, which happens to be 12. So what I want you to do now is pause the video, like I said, and try swapping the two variables and just seeing if you can do it. All right, guys, so hopefully you guys were able to do it. If you couldn't, that's perfectly okay. So whenever you're learning how to swap variables in computer programming, this is the most basic way that you can do it. The way that you have to do it is with a temporary variable. So we can do temp is equal to a. So we're temporarily holding the value of a in a temporary variable called temp. And then now we can reassign a to b. So a is equal to b, and then now we could do b is equal to temp. That's it. So the reason we had to bring in the temporary value is because if we were to just do a is equal to b without the temporary assignment here, then we would lose track of whatever a had. A would just be equal to 2, and then we don't know what a had when we're trying to assign b. So if we were to do b is equal to a now has the value of b, so they would just both be 2 at that point. So we need to store temporarily the value of a into temp, reassign a to b, and then use the temporary value that we stored from a in temp to b. So hopefully that makes sense. And we can verify that this worked by doing swapped a and b, and then we'll do a and then b. We can do multiple at once. So let's run this and see what happens. Okay, here we go. So we get my favorite quote, 1, 2, 3, and then down here we see swapped a and b, 2 and 1. So let's actually copy this code here and move it before the swap to take a look at what it looks like before we swapped it. So we'll say not swapped a and b. Let's run it again. So now we get not swapped a and b, 1 and 2, because that's the initial values for a and b. And then we get swapped a and b, 2 and 1. So it did swap it successfully. This is another thing where you're not going to do this commonly at all. This is not a very common thing that you have to memorize, but I think it's good to know how to wrap your head around doing stuff like this, because then that gives you a better understanding of how variables work and working with them and stuff like that. So I will say though that there's a cool trick, another cool trick that you can do within Python to swap values easily. So this is the traditional way that you'll find in other programming languages, but Python has an easier way. So let's just say again we have values a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2. So we're resetting them to the original values, right, before the swap. Let's say we want to swap, okay? So now Python allows you to do this weird code here. So a comma b is equal to b comma a. This will do the swap automatically. So you're basically saying I'm reassigning a to b and then b to a. But since it's all in one line, you don't have to worry about the temporary variable because it's all sort of happening at once. So you don't lose the value of what's currently stored in A when you're swapping it. It just happens all at once and it swaps it automatically, which is really cool. So we can take this code now, print it, and we can confirm it. So there we go. We get swapped A and B 2 and 1, swapped A and B 2 and 1. So now we know how to swap variables in two different ways. They both achieve the same thing. One of them is more concise if you want to do it that way with Python. And that's it. I know that was a lot for one video, but this is how you can create variables and store data within Python. It's a very essential thing that you should understand. It may be a little overwhelming because when I was first learning how to program, all of this, even though it may seem a little simple in the way that I'm explaining it, it's definitely a lot to learn all at once. So I recommend just creating Python scripts like I'm doing here and just typing it out yourself and just play with it yourself so you can get a feel for how it actually works. Don't just watch the video and not actually code yourself. You need to do stuff yourself, and that gets it solidified in your brain and your understanding, okay? Because as you're coding, you're gonna ask yourself questions and you're gonna be like, how do I do this? And then you could just try it and see what happens. So now guys, you know how to store data. In the next episode, we're gonna learn the different data types within Python. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys next time, and peace.